You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
I'm Stephen Cabral, board-certified naturopathic doctor, and I'm excited to get started on this Motivation and Mindset Monday. One of my absolute favorite days of the week to do my podcast. And one of the reasons is this. I use the same advice that I give you every single week. I need it as much as anyone else. And it is the motivation every single day when we wake up that really gets us through that day and into the next. A lot of people believe that some people are just born with, just a lot of energy, a lot of ability to want to be creative, to want to succeed, to want to just keep going day in and day out. And while some people do seem to have more of those habits than others, I can tell you that they are formed over time and that they just didn't appear. Very few people, if any, that I know of are just born with these great habits, right? They kind of begin to stick over a lifetime, and they can also be developed. So meaning for the first, let's say 20, 25 years of my life, I don't think I had really great habits. I was obviously, I think not obviously, but I was more of a stubborn individual. So I would oftentimes make myself do things, even when I maybe didn't want to, sometimes in the spite of others, sometimes if someone told me I couldn't do it, I would go after it a little bit harder. But those aren't real habits, right? That's doing it for a reason outside of yourself. What I want to talk about today is how real healthy habits are actually formed. So let's forget about the myth that a lot of people are just born with this great ability to do these specific things. They are certainly able to be achieved by anyone, and a lot of times it's just subconscious, meaning like a lot of us have habits in our daily life that we go through that we think nothing of, and they serve us or they don't serve us, but all of those two have been pre-established over a certain number of weeks, over a certain number of months, and then re-established, or I should say solidified over the years. So all we have to do is use that same tactic to create our own healthy habits. So what I want to do is just share a little story as well. Is I never grew up liking vegetables or enjoying vegetables. I certainly had a sweet tooth. Most of the foods that I did consume were on the sweeter side. I drank Kool-Aid growing up, and I really just stuck to a lot of those things that were sweet. And because of that, I obviously wore up my immune system. I really did a lot of damage to my overall health. And so after that, once I started to realize that, I started to eat more vegetables. I didn't like vegetables even when I was eating them in the beginning. They provided no sense of enjoyment to me. Some of them were much more bitter than I was accustomed to, which is the direct opposite of sweet. And what I said to myself was this, is that I'm going to eat them because I know that they're healthy for me, but not because I like them. And that's what we have to get past a lot of the times, is always doing things that we only like, that we only enjoy. Life's not always about that, right? Sometimes we have to make these decisions that we don't always love, but we know are going to serve us in the future. So what I looked at it like this is like, I don't like eating vegetables, but I know the benefit from vegetables are then going to allow me to be healthier. And if I'm healthier, I'm going to have more energy. And if I have more energy, I'm going to accomplish more of what I want to do in life. That's how I looked at it. So it's like, no, I don't like vegetables, but I like the health that it gives me. And then I like the energy that it gives me. So I don't have the brain fog, the lethargy, the poor mood. And then I have the ability to go after and achieve more of my dreams. So that's what I talk to people. I talk about changing your body so that you can change your life. Yes, I'm in the functional medicine, naturopathic medicine business. That's what I do. That's my life. That's my practice. But really what I'm after is helping people achieve a better life, right? And you can't have that really. You can't maximize it to the fullest if you're always struggling day in and day out with health-based issues. And I know that because I lived this. I lived it for way too long. 5 years of up and down relapses and then still not fully better for another few years after that. Now for the past, let's say 5, 6, almost 10 years, years, I really have had abundant health, and it's amazing, and it's totally different from what I've experienced before. And now I'm able to just get more accomplished and just I view life in a different way, right? So it's regardless of what I accomplish or not, I just see life in a much different aspect, a much different vision than I did for the first 25 years or so of my life. So here's how we can establish those healthy habits. It's a lot like I did with eating vegetables. I hated them. So what I did was I just said, you know what? I'm going to put them on my plate, but I'm only going to make myself have 2 mouthfuls. After those 2 mouthfuls, I don't want to eat them. I don't have to eat anymore. And what I would do is I would do that for a couple weeks. And I'd say, okay, now I'm going to do 3 bites. And then I'm going to do 4 bites. And you know what? After about a month or so, I said, I still don't love vegetables, but I don't mind them now. They're not that bad. And then over a period of months, I actually enjoyed them. I started to crave them. Why? Well, I always go back to it. It takes about 120 days for all of your red blood cells to turn over. Start to become a new individual. These cells have different signals. Your brain sends different signals. Your gut sends different signals from your vagus nerve right up to your brain. You have to understand also that the science shows you need about 6 to 10 tastes of a food to start to develop a healthy habit to it, which is why if your kids don't like vegetables, use the same tactic that I do. Just have 1 bite. Just have 2 bites. Start to get their taste buds and their olfactory nerve, their smell, used to these different types of vegetables, these different types of tastes. So that's really important. Another one I use for exercise is this. I said to myself when I was dealing with massive fatigue-based issues, and I say to my online clients as well, because I develop online private training programs for a lot of people online as well. It's something I advertise. It's not something I sell, but a lot of people I do work with directly. And what I say is this: if you're not motivated that day to do your workout, here's what I want you to do. I want you to put on your workout clothes anyways. I want you to go downstairs to your basement, go to your living room, wherever you're doing your workout, or to your gym. And all I want you to do is 5 minutes. I want you to get into your workout, do your warm-up for 5 minutes. And if after that, you do that first set, you do not feel motivated still to do that workout, you still feel tired after going through your 5-minute warm-up, I want you then to turn around and then not do the workout for that day. However, after you get that body start moving, after you get that blood flow going to the brain, more oxygen, you know what? You're going to start to feel better. And so just take that first 5 minutes, do what I recommend for so many people, and just start to get after it. Now, other healthy habits, how are they formed? Well, here's the thing I talked about in the very beginning of the show, is that it's a well-proven fact that there is at least 21 days of committing to something and doing it on a daily basis to start to rewire the brain, to actually start to make it a habit. So this actually came about from one of our people in our private Facebook group. They mentioned that they were on day 11 of the Dr. Cabral detox, and they said they were really struggling for the first week. That this person has thyroid-based issues, they are trying to lose weight, they have inflammation-based issues, they suffer from low mood. So that's the thing is this is a healing process. And if this person gave up after just 7 days, they wouldn't have got to where they feel now on day 11. They see things in a whole different light. Their energy came back. Their sleep came back. They're starting to feel so much better. You have to understand that you can't change a decade or 2 decades worth of accumulation of toxins and poor health and inflammation in just a few days. Now, a lot of people do feel better by the 5th day, but not everyone. Remember, we're all individuals. We know how the healing process takes place, but we have to give our bodies time. That's why there's a specific reason why I do the 7, 14, or 21-day detox. The 21 days is really complete healing. You feel so much better. It's totally life-changing. And that's the thing, too. And you can do it however you want. But and it's not just the Dr. Ball detox. It's anything. I don't want to make that about this at all. I want you to commit to any habit, whether it's exercise, eating vegetables, doing a greens powder every morning, even just doing something like a multivitamin, whatever works for you. Just commit to that one habit, do it for 21 days, and then add your next one in. Don't overcomplicate things. Don't overwhelm yourself. Maybe it's just 5 minutes of meditation. That would be a great one. Right when you wake up, maybe you brush your teeth, you splash some water on your face, have a glass of water, squeeze some lemon in it, and then do a 5-minute meditation. Maybe that's your morning routine. Try that for 21 days. I guarantee you will feel phenomenal. You would take a huge step forward just with that small little routine right there. So I told myself I wouldn't get too deep into the science today because I want to make this about action and not the science. The science can overwhelm people. And I always tell people in my practice as well, you don't need to know how this works. All you need to do is implement it and enjoy the benefits. But here's the science behind it, is that there are actually new neural pathways created in your nervous system and in your brain, these synapses. And the more that you use them, meaning like it's almost like strengthening a muscle. If you were to do push-ups every single day for 21 days, you'd probably be able to add 1 push-up a day. Today you did you did 1 push-up. Tomorrow you do 2, and you just keep strengthening it, right? Well, the same thing happens. You strengthen your nervous system. You actually create stronger and faster neural junctions. Basically, it means between those junctions and synapses, you're firing that much faster. It actually begins to overload or bypass the smaller neurons and just move on to the larger ones at a faster rate, which means you just turn it on really fast. And so that's the amazing thing. The more you do it, the stronger it gets. And so all it is about practice, right? No one's superhuman. We all have this ability. What we don't have always is the ability to commit, the willpower to say yes. And that's because it's so hard in the beginning. It's literally like trying to push a, boulder up a hill. But, for those first 21 days, or let's just say for the first couple minutes, you're pushing up the hill. Once you get to the top, you give it that one more push. It's so much easier to roll downhill afterwards, but you need to put in the work in the beginning. That's what it's all about, is things aren't easy. I understand they're not easy. It's not easy for anyone. When I want to develop a new habit, it's an absolute struggle. But all I know is because I've done it before. I have a little bit of benchmark. I say, I'm just going to push through. I'm just going to make this like a turnkey system. I'm going to take my brain out of the equation and just do it. Just keep going with it and just commit to 1 new habit per day. I'm telling you, just pick one, whatever one you want. Make it about nutrition, make it about a morning routine, make it about exercise, make it about improving your mood, make it about reading 10 minutes per day. That's about 5 pages to 10 pages or so per day. You'll be able to read a book a month. Just start to go through all these different habits. Whatever one you want, just pick one. And for the next 21 days, challenge yourself. Make yourself do it. Make it a priority. Try to do it every morning or every day during lunch or every day when you get home from work or before bed. Those are the best times I've seen to do it because those really won't be interrupted. So let me know if there are any questions on this. I could talk about this forever, and I typically do during a 60-minute seminar. But thank you once again for tuning into the Cabral Concept. I appreciate you listening, and if this information could help anyone else, please do feel free to forward it, to pass it along. Thanks, and have a great day. I want to sincerely thank you for your support of this podcast. I couldn't do it without you, and I mean that. I truly do. I also want to make sure you knew that we now have multiple ways for you to find your answers to the most difficult health, wellness, weight loss, and anti-aging questions. You can find podcast-specific topics like thyroid, adrenal, hormones, sleep, digestion, Ayurveda, and many more at stevencabral.com/podcasts that will then link you to your favorite Apple, Spotify, and other podcast players. Plus, all new podcasts and weekly exclusive video content is being added to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Stephen Cabral. And that's Stephen with a PH. Head on over and subscribe so that you don't miss any of the exclusive content. Lastly, if you've ever found any of my podcasts or books to be helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a review on iTunes or your favorite media player for the podcast. Rating and subscribing to the YouTube and podcast allow me to reach more and more people and help spread my mission of healing throughout the world. Thank you again for being a part of this movement.